The real shame is that we've got to wait another 4 years, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess there's a woke men's Rugby World Cup in between now and then. But yeah, it's sad that it's over, isn't it? But hey, don't be sad that it's over. Smile that it happened, and also be sad that England won it.
Yeah. Let's not cry over spilt Asahi. Let's look at the awards. So, this has been a really good World Cup. I think we've talked about it in more detail on a review of the tournament. We've talked about it throughout the tournament. But what we're going to do now is hand out some awards. So, we've got, 5, 6 categories?
Yeah.
One of them, though, is a walkover, which we'll cover. One of them, just like no one else turned up, there's only one contestant. So, we will look at our player of the tournament. We will look at a player. We'll nominate some players as well from teams that didn't get out of the pool stage.
Yeah.
As a separate
An
award.
honorary player of the tournament.
Yes.
Because we like to be a little bit novelty here at Squidge Rugby.
Yes. Match the tournament.
Yeah.
Coach of the tournament. I wonder how that one's going to go. Moment of the tournament. And we're also going to look at disappointment of the tournament.
What about try of the tournament? Did you say
Try
that?
the tournament? Sure.
Yeah.
Throw try the
we'll
tournament
chuck that in there as
yeah.
well.
Okay. Do you want to start with try the tournament?
Sure. Okay. I think there's a couple of, like, Collar Lamani's got to be up there for the length of the field effort against Canada.
Such a good try.
Such a good try. I think if you look at individual efforts, Georgia Miller against Japan has got to be up there. But for me, I think it has to be Maya Joseph against
Ireland, yeah.
That is like the walk in, like the try of the tournament, because like it's got everything you could want. It's got like 7 or 8 passes in here, offloads. It's got Georgia Miller being a freak as well, which you always want. And it's the Black Ferns doing what the Black Ferns do best, and the length of the field effort. It's so good, and it was the dagger in the Irish heart.
I think that's incredibly hard to argue with. I think it's kind of there. Though I do think you can open France versus Brazil and open the highlights on any random point, and you'll find a try of the tournament.
Very true, actually.
Everything France scored was an absolute belter in that game.
Yeah.
Words for Peltier's dummy in her try against New Zealand
That's
as well.
got to be up there.
That puts you right up there.
Doing that against the Black Ferns and all. That's so impressive.
There's Hele's hat-trick try against Brazil as well, I thought was sensational. That was spectacular.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of these that are in or thereabouts. Fiji scored a few other belters beyond Lamani's try as well. So, some of the tries against Wales were spectacular.
Yeah, Aditove's try against Wales.
Yes.
That's got to be up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, however, I want to throw one other contender out there.
Hit me.
Bianca Silva.
Yeah.
Against
France.
France.
A try.
As a solo try of the tournament, I think you can split off into individual and team try of the tournament. And I think maybe for me that is the individual try of the tournament. Ellie Kildone in the final is the other one I'd throw out there.
It's a bloody good try in a final.
Which comes out of nowhere in a final against, Karen Pack 1, who is an experienced campaigner.
Those tries don't just happen in Rugby World Cup finals. That'd be special.
So that is right up there, Kildone in that final. But I think if you go individual try of the tournament, I would go for Bianca Silva against France.
Yeah, I love that. But we're saying Maya Joseph.
Maya Joseph overall try of the tournament.
tournament.
We'll throw that out there.
Okay.
But I want to throw honourable mention there to Bianca Silva.
I like that.
Okay, so we'll move on to player moment towards the end. But I want to, let's cover them quickly. Coach of the tournament was given to, or Coach of the Year was given to John Mitchell.
Yes.
We, I think, both disagree.
Yeah. First and foremost, it is unclear whether this is the Women's Coach of the Year or just the World Rugby Coach of the Year. They didn't really specify that.
There's no nominations list named.
I don't know if they've not decided yet whether that's going to be the case.
I think there's a chance of that.
They're seeing what plays out in the Autumn Internationals.
So last year there was a massive backlash from South Africans primarily over the fact that you had a sevens coach nominated in amongst 15s coaches.
Yeah.
I wonder if they split this off to be men's and women's so they can split the award off a little bit and negate that. I think they saw coming, right? The Coach of the Year was going to be whoever wins the Women's Rugby World Cup final, right? As it was in 2022 rather. And in that year as well, you had a backlash. People went, why isn't it Razzie Erasmus?
Yeah.
Why isn't it John Nineveh? And there will be that backlash again if the Springboks go on to win the Rugby Championship. I struggle to say the word rugby there, which is alarming.
You've not had enough practice.
The job I've fallen into. If the Springboks win the championship, right, there will be people complaining, why isn't it Razzie? Yeah. I think they might be getting ahead of that and kind of like hedging their bets going, well, maybe we give it to John Mitchell.
Yeah.
I think it's quite obvious for me. The coach of the tournament is to Kevin Rouet.
Yes. I think the other part of that as well is that they're potentially just not going to announce a men's one or just announce another one. So at that point, everybody's moved on from the John Mitchell one as well. I agree with you. I think Kevin Rouet has brought a sense of innovation which has been seen in the women's game before, but not on this scale, I don't think. Because a lot of the time, we've seen a lot of the coaches that are, not to undermine them, because there's been some brilliant coaches in past World Cups, but a lot of the coaches that in the amateur era of women's rugby have been given to the women's team by their unions have not been like their first choice, have just been somebody that have gone, well, he or she is good, you know, but not like good enough to coach our men's team or coach like our premier team in our division or whatever. Whereas Kevin Rouet is the best rugby coach in Canada.
Yes.
And that sounds a really uncontroversial thing to say, but is like one of the best rugby coaches in the world, possibly the best. In fact, definitely the best rugby coach in the world at the moment. Like the form rugby coach.
Exactly. I think on the evidence of this year, he might be the best coach in the world.
Yeah.
In terms of what he's got out of his players, in terms of the style of play he's built from nothing. In terms of the imagination it takes to build that game plan. Also want to give credit to the rest of the backroom staff, right? I think they're getting much less credit. I think Rouet's kind of being singled out as like a solo genius, and I think a large part of that seems to be true from hearing people talk about him. Yeah. But you've also got like Alex Osterberry in defence. Yeah. You've got also, I want to mention Steve Aboud, who previously once established the Irish development system, right, that now leads to where they are now. Oversaw that programme being built, went into the same with Italy. Built that program that's led to their enormous success over the last few years. Like built the program that developed like Paolo Garbisi, Michele Lamaro, Tommaso Menoncello, etc. Go on and on and on to those names. That's really led to that national team improving. Came into Canada, where he's tasked with improving both men's and women's. He was given essentially, right? You had two sets of coaches. Rouet went, I know what I want, and it lined up exactly for what Aboud wanted in terms of training everyone to be complete rugby players. Yeah. Right? And so he got pretty much complete freedom to develop players in the way he wanted from the university pathway and from the youth pathways in Canada, and did an incredible job of developing these players into like more rounded rugby athletes and thinkers about the game, right? And then Rouet has shaped that into a game plan. And for me, like that is the coaching unit, that's the coaching ticket that has done the most this year.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think the other arguments actually, ironically, kind of come within the England team as well. Yeah. That you look at like Lou Meadows, I think deserves that. And I know it always goes to the head coach on behalf of the rest of the coaching team. But I think Lou Meadows and Lewis Deacon in particular have been outstanding and created an attack that really suits this England team. And obviously like Sarah Hunter as well, backing it up in D. But Lewis Deacon in particular, I think, is huge in the way that you think of England, you think of their pack, you think of what their pack's capable of at the set piece. And Lewis Deacon has been the heartbeat of that for years now. For 4 or 5 years, he's been in that role and he's been smashing it out of the park. But with Kevin Rouet, as I say, everybody in the squad calls him a rugby genius. And following him on Instagram, seeing that all of the players that have been tagging him in the last few days, like talking about the video of him crying at the full-time whistle, like in the huddle, and everybody saying like, this guy's a rugby genius and he's the best coach, one of the best men that I've met, and that I will play for him for another 4 years if he sticks around, which it looks like he's wanting to do. Yeah. He seems like he knows he's in the perfect job.
He's doing a kind of sabbatical of Saracens. Yeah. I think there is a chance that a men's team throws money at him.
Yeah. But I think he wants to stay where he is for the time being.
I think he'd be very happy there.
It depends how many noughts are on the cheque, obviously. Yeah. But I think this is the ultimate team. Unless, like, maybe France men threw, like, a huge deal at him. I don't say that because he's French. I say that because of the style of play.
I think both, though. I think that's the team most likely to tempt him away because he is French himself.
Yeah. And, like, you know, as a French man who played rugby as a kid, like, this would be the dream job for him, wouldn't it? But I think he's genuinely so attached to this. Yeah. And we did a video about a year ago on is Rassie Erasmus the all-time, like, the GOAT of coaches? And we talked about the technical, tactical stuff, but also, like, the emotional side of it. And the thing that astounds me about Kevin Rouet is that he's got both of those bang on. Yeah. That, you know, he has such an empathy for players, and you hear so many, like, horror stories of really successful men's coaches going to women's rugby and not getting that right at all, being really bad at that.
The other thing is he's been coaching women like right up from age grade pathways. Yeah. Like he started, and we talked about this in the video we did a few weeks ago, but he started up because the local team he was playing for needed someone to coach the girls, and he was like, well, I've got some free time. Yeah. And then went from there, from age grade right up to, you know, seniors, then friendship to national level. Yeah. So,
as you mentioned,
you've also got to look at like what you're getting out of your resources, right? Yes. I think that's a big part of it. You look at like, I think Pablo Lemoyne should have won Coach of the Year a few years ago. We had him, you know, kind of end of year, like Moments of the Year and so on, Team of the Year, Coach of the Year. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves on that, but like Rouet has done an enormous amount with mixed resources, right? With obviously there's great pieces there, but you've also got to think like what the core job of a coach, right, is to upskill your players. John Mitchell doesn't have to do that. Right, he's got like an incredible core of players. And
maintaining that skill level is
absolutely, and you can always people can always get better at things, right? Yeah. But I think like in terms of the way Tessier talked about the way he challenged people to be smarter rugby players and to think about the game more really shows. So yeah, I think Kevin Roy for me will be nailed in. I think we're both on that.
No disrespect to John Mitchell, because he's done a phenomenal job and he has a World Cup winners medal, which he bloody deserves. He's done such a good job and the England players talk so highly of him, which when he first got the England job, I was very sceptical, because there were so many horror stories about when he coached England men, when he coached the All Blacks and all sorts, and him being an interesting and divisive character. Whereas in this, like, everybody's just talking about how amazing he is and how inspiring he is. And like all the stuff about him, like doing that speech where he cried talking about the players and you know how inspiring he finds them all. Like John Mitchell, like as a kind of, I guess, runner-up as head coaches go, I think is not unfair.
Do you have any bronze medal contenders?
I mean, Gail Mignot is coaching on her own, so you know having her outside of David Ortiz is an interesting one. Scott Beeman I really like as well. I think he's done an excellent job.
I think Scott Beeman did a broadly excellent job, but I think actually this World Cup's been the point at which there's maybe some of that's come unstuck a bit. I think there was a little bit of like him perhaps thinking he was further along than he was. You think what I'm talking about, how he expected to beat Canada in that warm-up game and then New Zealand and so on. The guy I'd throw in third place would be Brian Eason.
Oh, I was going to say Ramsey Tomakino.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My man. Yeah, Brian Eason, great shout as well.
Yeah.
I
think he's done a lot with very difficult circumstances. You've got to think about like the way in which he's got those players performing emotionally and despite the amount of stress and pressure and everything off the field going on.
I think the two things are true. He's left at the right time for him, and he's also got a lot out of these players. But Ramsey Tomakino, sorry mate, he's taken it.
Yeah. A legend, a hero, a high chief.
Samoa, that is. Yes.
A Samoan high chief. Okay, so should we do match the tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've each got a top three.
Yes, we do.
And we will count down our list.
Yes, we will.
If one of us has one higher up the list than the other, just say higher up my list, and we'll talk about when we get to the higher placement.
Okay. What's your third place?
Third place, I'm torn. I've kind of got four.
I've kind of got four. Let's go fourth place then.
Let's go fourth place. Okay. Fourth place, South Africa versus Italy.
South Africa versus Italy is my fourth place.
Okay.
Just
really
edged
torn.
out.
It should be in the top three, right?
It should be.
That was as good a game as you'll see anywhere.
I'm so glad that we stretched this to four, because if we didn't have that in, that would have been bad.
That was an absolute spectacle. South Africa started off in this this is the biggest day of our careers, this is the biggest day of our lives. Absolute destiny match. Italy got back into it as the kind of favourites for the game, as the more established team there, a team who'd made the knockouts before. Then the drama just carried on. It then became this real back and forth. You had one team playing real forward rugby, one team playing real backs rugby. It had an incredibly dramatic finale where Italy almost scored twice to take the win, to take the lead. Then they were given essentially an advantage off that goal line dropout, and one of the all-time, maybe the greatest goal line dropout of all time, narrowly beats Dianka and bounces into touch. And South
Genius
Africa,
by Libby Janssen van Rensburg to win the game. And I described it at the time as the perfect rugby match if you've never seen the sport before to watch. The perfect introduction to it, because as you just mentioned, it was two complete opposite styles, equally effectively damaging each other. And I thought it was brilliant. Rugby is like a board game, how the many different kind of strategies you can have to take away the opponent's kind of big pieces from each other. I thought it was brilliant.
No, that was absolutely superb.
I now feel like I probably should have put this number one, but it's fine.
No, I think so. I'm quite happy with it.
Let's leave it number four.
But yeah, the absolute drama of it. South Africa, the occasion as well, them getting out the group for the first time ever, the biggest day in South African women's rugby history ever, and a game that lived up to that. And so many South Africans fell in love with this team that day, right? Had enjoyed them the week before, perhaps supported them for the last few years, on and off. And then this was the day where they kind of through the spirit, through passion, through everything else, through, who was it? Nadine Ruiz running in and yelling everything is changing.
Yeah, Libby Janssen van Rensburg.
It was Janssen van Rensburg, okay. Running and yelling everything is changing on the full-time whistle.
Yeah.
Just a brilliant day. Just a brilliant occasion. Okay.
Number three.
I've
gone for Fiji v Wales.
Okay. This is not on my list.
Not on your list. I feel like, again, looking at the emerging nations and what was really needed out of that. And again, that was a really entertaining game if you remove our Welsh bias from that. Because of the fact it was Fiji built a lead playing a really entertaining brand where they were playing to width constantly and punching through the middle as well. They had a really good balance on how they played the game. Wales obviously had the comeback as the more experienced and battle-hardened team, but through just sheer grit and honestly clinging on by their fingernails, Fiji managed to see that game out.
Yeah, again, there was a lot in that sheer passion of Fiji.
Yeah.
In the fact that I think they surprised themselves a little bit of how well it went in the first sort of 50 odd minutes.
Yeah.
And how after Wales started so well and scored inside the first 2 minutes, I think Fiji a little bit maybe expect what happened against Canada and Scotland, right, where they put up a fight.
Sure.
And then they took control of the game through playing their natural game.
Yeah.
Through playing offloading and high intensity and playing to width and just getting people into positions where they can.
The sort of game that
beat
shouldn't make
defenders.
sense.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
yet it did.
Through playing Fijian rugby, right?
Yeah.
And this again was Fiji's first win in a World Cup. And like South Africa, it came in the way that the nation love. It came in the way that they love playing and the way they love watching. So yeah, I couldn't argue that at all. My number 3 was France versus Ireland.
Oh,
Final.
yes. I didn't have that on my list, but yes. What a shout that is.
What a game. What a game. Maybe the lowest scoring game of the tournament?
Yeah,
I think it
probably.
was.
Yeah.
We generally saw a lot of tries in this tournament. Ireland got out to a great start, played in horrible conditions, which really nullified France's strengths, which was the offloading game.
Yeah.
And yet, France's defence, the passage on half-time, I think is... It didn't quite make my moments of the tournament, but like is right up there for me. And I think partly because I want to talk about it in this game. I think that was like one of my favourite passages of the tournament.
Rugby for us.
Was the long passage of defence on half-time where Ireland went through 40 plus phases and France managed to hold them out. There was very much a bite that happened.
The controversy adds to the game.
Yeah.
It was like sheer drama and intensity.
The fact it was won by an 80-metre individual, sort of a large individual try, like a phenomenal
A
finish by
sprint.
Grise.
Yeah, a sprint in.
The fact
and
that-
that's so unlikely in a game like that.
Yeah.
If this wasn't a World Cup game, it would not be anywhere near this list. But in World Cup knockout games like that are absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that was everything. Like
Yeah.
it represented everything that like you needed. For me, that was like the perfect. That's why we watch World Cups, right? It's for games like that,
Yeah.
and occasions like that. So
Piss off, Uge.
that was incredibly violent. What's your second place?
My second place, Canada v New Zealand.
Yes, that is also my second place.
Okay. Semi-final.
Semi-final.
It lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
And in a slightly different way.
We said so many times during the week there was no way this isn't a banger.
Yeah.
This is going to be an absolute
I knew it was going to
belter.
be an all-timer, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happened, but in a different way to what I thought.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have separated the two teams in the week. As I said when we did the preview of that it was so... Just two 9 out of 10 teams, I guess. And it was like, who's going to get the 0.1 etched above their name? And in the end, it was more than that from Canada. Because New Zealand played very well, and Rohe Demant put in an absolute masterclass in that game. But it was the way that Canada put in maybe the greatest performance in their history.
I don't think you can argue with that being the greatest performance in the history of Canadian rugby.
Yeah.
Like
to
male or
propel
female, whatever,
themselves to a
wherever,
final.
at a World Cup or not.
Yeah. And yeah, I just think that was incredible and inspiring, and in a way that it didn't make you think, oh yeah, Canada have put everything into this game, which made you go, oh my God, they're special.
We're talking about things that make you enjoy watching the game, right? The things you watch it for. Those days when a team turns up and delivers their kind of I always call them destiny performances, right? Where everything clicks, everything is right. They're on an emotional wavelength. They're just accurate and they're brilliant and they do it.
Yeah.
They properly turn up. And you think about Uruguay in the 2019 World Cup. You think about Argentina when they beat New Zealand in 2020 for the first time. That was, one of those truly. The Black Ferns in the last World Cup final was one of those, I think, to a large degree, where just everything goes right for them and they pull off history. And that Canada performance was one of the greatest we've ever seen of that, that genre of performance and that genre of game. And New Zealand played their part, the way they came back into it. Their Rohe Demant started really turning the screw in the last 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just an absolutely sensational game.
So when you start counting your team out, and they're like, no, we've got world-class players all over the
Yeah.
park, thank you very much. And Kai Paulson-Baker putting in an
Yes.
all-time performance from
Most carries in a Rugby World Cup match ever. Women's Rugby World Cup
mental.
match ever.
It's mental.
Okay, number one, I imagine we've both gone the same way. USA versus Australia, 31-31 in the pool stage.
What a game.
Also set up a brilliant plot in the last round of the pool stage, which led to this score chasing and there's something on both games and them needing to score a certain number of points. Added an extra layer of drama in there.
So
but
much to it.
what a game.
We spoke forever about that game when we
did.
did our video on it. 31 all as a scoreline in itself is incredible. But the fact that both teams put in huge defensive shifts as well
Yeah.
was incredible. It just shows the attack and defence one of them being good, like it's not mutually exclusive. The two of them could be good at the same time, and that was what I thought was brilliant about this game. Caitlin Hulse stepping up and getting those 2 tries, doing the celebration, and like that felt like proper World Cup rugby. Like the two getting really stuck into each other. The whole thing about them kicking on the last play of the game and the drama of that, and Lottie Sharp putting it out for full time. That was brilliant. Alona Marr standing up and like,
was so good.
really driving the crowd.
Yeah.
And Hope Rogers as well with the player of the match. Oh no, it was actually Freydis Tafuna got player of the match in that, rather.
Who was sensational.
All of those utterly
Hope Rogers,
world-class.
absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Honestly, this was as good a game as I've ever seen. This was the best game I've seen this year.
Literally.
And like that Lions second test was pretty spectacular.
You can't say, oh, that team deserved to win that game.
Yeah.
Because they were both equally as good as each other.
At the end, I was cheering for a draw.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was like, if one of the teams won the game, they'd have deserved it.
Yeah.
Because like, literally, they'd both done 1,000 things, right? And for both of them, like, I don't know, 950 of them were good, you know? And if one of the two teams managed to get to 951, they'd have deserved the win. Yeah. That's how good a game it was.
It was so good. It was so good. I just remember, like, vibrating through it, sitting, watching it, and...
So good.
Yeah. At home, like, right up the screen. Like, just, like, standing right up the screen, watching every detail. Honestly, incredible.
Unreal.
Okay, we'll take a slight shift.
Yep.
Disappointment with the tournament. Again, I believe we've each got 3.
Oh, we've got 3.
Have you? No, you've only
I've
got 1.
got 2.
You've got 2. Okay, I've got 3. Number 3 for me is Wales.
Okay, yeah.
They're the one team for me that didn't turn up and didn't get a moment at all.
They're one of my 2.
Italy also, disappointed.
Yeah.
Italy and Wales were the 2 teams I felt turned up and didn't really contribute. Italy at least had the game against Brazil where they did score a lot of points, did score, elsewhere. Wales were just shit.
Yeah.
Wales were just really, really poor.
Okay, so I'll just tell you in there, my 2 are Wales and Beatrice Rigoni.
Okay.
The fact that she's meant to be a world-class player, and I feel like she just spent the whole time kind of messing around.
About, yeah.
And like didn't feel like she played anywhere near her top of her game.
It felt like she thought she was still playing in like a novelty tournament that not many people are watching.
I think she phoned it in slightly.
And it's like, I think she wasn't taking it seriously as a tournament.
Yeah, and I feel like she was the least great member of that Italian backline.
Yeah.
And obviously that Italian backline are all class. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I felt a little bit let down by Italy, and I feel like maybe I'm just being a bit unfair on her by just like her being kind of the face of Italy underperforming a little bit. Even though they had a couple of moments. But yeah, Wales just generally
didn't even perform in that game against Scotland. Lost to Fiji, where at least they did, turn up and play in that game.
Yeah.
And scored 4 tries. Going into the final weekend, they scored fewer points than any other team in the tournament, including Samoa, including Brazil.
Yeah. I can't really think of what they positively contributed to this tournament, other than the fact that Alcal played.
Other than playing in one belting game.
Yeah.
Like, they gave us one belting game, which they lost.
Yeah.
But
they lost it because it was a big day for the other team to beat them, because they never should have done.
Yeah.
From a Welsh perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
and we've talked about this
tough one to swallow.
at length elsewhere, but
I'm interested to know what your other
I thought
ones
Wales
are,
were shit.
other than the fact that England won, I guess. That could be the disappointment for me.
Number 2 for me, it's a disappointment rather than a problem.
Yeah.
People are dressing it up as a problem. But the fact that in the pool stage there were only 3 games that finished within 7 points of each other.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that's a disappointment.
A mild disappointment.
That's something I want for the next World Cup, right? If you think of it in that margin, in that way, I want the margins to be tighter in the pool stage.
I would agree with that.
The problem isn't that there are blowouts, or even the number of blowouts. That's fine.
They need to
It's
exist
the
in World
fact
Cups, I think.
They will always exist.
Yeah.
It's part of it. They've always existed in
This is
every
what
World Cup
rugby
in
is.
any sport,
Yeah.
and in rugby union in particular. Like, there were more close games. There were 3 here. There were only 2 games within that margin in the pool stage in 1999, the first one after professionalisation of the men's game.
Yeah.
Like, this happens, this is similar. I might have been 3 games as well, but always similar. That's fine. Like, it's not a problem, but it's a disappointment we didn't get a couple more. That is, games like Wales, Scotland, you wanted to be tighter. You wanted to be closer. There's a few of
If
those.
we're
Ireland, New
nitpicking
Zealand,
this
you probably
World
wanted to be
Cup,
closer.
we'd
Even though
want
that was a huge occasion on its own.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I'm like, okay, that's not ideal.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Number 1 disappointment of the tournament was the schedule clashes.
Yes.
The fact there were pool games that took place at the same time.
Yes.
If you think about it in terms of what do I want to happen at the next World Cup, right? Those are the 2 things I'm like, you want, one of them is at World Rugby's hands, right? But you want games to be closer, and you want to be able to watch every game.
Yeah.
You want the games to be scheduled differently. You don't want games overlapping in 2 of the 3 pool weekends.
Yeah. I was going to just discuss this on the video that we've definitely already
Yes.
recorded, wrapping up the thing, but you're bang on.
That's my main disappointment. So we won't linger on it too long. But
I completely agree.
that's my main disappointment, number 1.
With the Men's World Cup, we have both
Yeah.
individually watched every single game that's happened since 2011.
Yeah.
Since the first
And
game
we watched
of
every game in
2011.
2007 back for a podcast.
Yes, that's also true. But we watched them all. Well, with 2011 it was difficult because we were in school
Yeah.
and had to like miss a couple. But we at least watched them on the day as live. Watching them back, not knowing the scoreline.
Yeah.
At the very least. Whereas that became quite difficult when they're overlapping and then it's coming up on comms. And sometimes you can double screen it, but there were times where that wasn't possible because we were literally at the game.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, so that was a disappointment. Okay, let's do player of the tournament.
Yeah.
However, we'll begin by looking at player from a team who got eliminated in the pool stage.
Okay.
Now, I've got a bunch of honourable mentions and then 3 I picked out.
Okay.
So anyone that qualified and got into the pool stage is knocked out. It's really harsh on some of the players that went out in the quarterfinals, right? Because like those South African and Scottish players.
Yeah,
like
Evie Gallagher. What did she need
Evie
to do?
Gallagher and Fran McGee.
Yeah.
Both deserve mentions, right? Again, South Africa, like Hele, Charlie, Lasher, like there's so many brilliant players across that team. Malinga, Dolph, was
Roos.
superb, Roos. You keep going and going and going.
Jans van Rensburg, yeah.
Yeah, Nguevu, but none of them kind of get a mention there because they would be like really high up on this list.
Yeah.
But don't get in
Caitlin
there.
Halse as well for Australia.
Yeah, I think we'll do top 3s, then we'll do some other honourable mentions from the pool stage.
Yeah.
Because we could go any way with this. So who's your number 3? On
Claudia Pena.
She's my number 2.
Okay.
So we'll get onto her in a second. I've just spoiled that. My number 3, Josephine Nehamu.
She's
of
my number
Fiji.
2.
She's my okay. So we've got 2 and 3. Okay. So let's talk about these 2 players.
Yeah. Where do you want to start?
Should we start with Nehamu,
Yes.
who for me Fiji's best player.
Yeah, I agree.
Fiji were great fun to watch. There's a few of their players who perhaps didn't get the minutes out wide or their pack, who were excellent, but Nehamu was the star.
Yeah.
She had everything you want from a Fijian centre.
Yeah.
Raw power, able to just explode through contact, but silky skills.
Can offload out of that contact because she
Offloading.
wins every collision.
Yeah.
Every single
And
one.
whenever she got room, raw pace.
Yes. So good. Again, she set up the try for Lamani that we talked about against Canada. The brilliant run for that. Against Scotland, she was utterly outstanding. Then against Wales, she was the player of the match. She scored 2 tries and completely ripped them open. Yeah. Like, I could not rate her highly. I think she's only like 22 years old, I want to say.
22, maybe 23.
And has been nominated for Breakthrough Player of the Year. Obviously didn't win it, but got the nomination there. She has a huge future ahead of her.
Absolutely. A PWR club's going to be snapping her up right away.
Honestly, the female Joshua Tuisova is what you're looking at.
Could well be.
Yeah.
Could well be, yeah. Claudia Pena, who...
so good.
She's ridiculous. And went to Baguia, has been great for Quins ever since signing, was great for Spain since the age of 17, and great sevens player as well. This World Cup went up a gear. Had that...
It was hers, mate.
Sort of in a way reminds me, and this is an obscure reference, for you and you alone, I think, of DJ van der Merwe in the 2011 Rugby World Cup for Canada.
Yeah.
In that he was just a bit like, no, I'm the one player who... I play for Glasgow, so I'm the best player in the world.
Yeah.
He was the one player in his backline that was playing like highest level pro rugby.
Yeah.
And so he kind of had this like confidence about him beyond the fact that he was
Bleached
already their
his
best
hair
player. Yeah, yeah.
Because he
and
lives
moved
in
into play
Glasgow.
13, exactly the same as Pena did. And Claudia Pena played with a confidence that added so much to her game in this World Cup.
Yeah.
And she was the back probably here that I enjoyed watching the most from these kind of players that went out early. She was just like brilliant, and the way she could hit a line and involve herself, and often it's quite difficult if you're naturally a back free player, obviously she was playing in the centre, most of the time anyway, to strike your influence on the game if you're the best player.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's much easier if you're number 8 or a 10.
Especially in a backs-dominated team as Spain are.
But every time Pena got the ball and got herself involved, one, she worked incredibly hard at getting in there. But every involvement she had, she made it count, and she was adding so much value. Like some of the lines and ways she was able to create tries or at least create chances from seemingly nothing by just coming and hitting a line or running with like that 10% more vigour. I think being energised can do for you.
Yeah, I think you said it all there.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's a living highlight reel.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay,
I think we've gone for the same player at number 1.
I feel we might have. Number 1, honestly, would have been top 5 players of the tournament for me, despite only playing the 3 games. Count 3?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Erica Gerald
Searcy.
What a player. We both butchered the pronunciation of her name there. Erica Gerald Searcy. What a player she is. Honestly, like, coming up against England and watching her playing there and go, oh my God, she's really good. Like, everything she's doing, line out, breakdown, just running with the ball, scored a lengthy try against England. And then just every game of the tournament thereafter was doing the same thing.
I talked about her at length on one of the other videos.
We've talked to her a lot in this World Cup.
You know, took up rugby because on her first week at Harvard, got an email saying, are you a badass? Went, yes. And turned up to rugby training blind, not really knowing anything about the sport, because she was like, yes, I am a badass. And from there, went on to prove it at a World Cup.
Yeah.
And there is one more complete second row in the world, and her name is Sophie de Goody. She is so good with ball in hand, handling is exceptional, hits lines like a centre, jackals like an open side, cleans out like like the best second row you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Brilliant line out forward, so complete. She was, for me, like one of the best players in the tournament. And I think if not for having this list in there, probably would have made my top 3 of the tournament overall.
There's this really cool breed of second rows you come across in women's rugby that are like Medusa Fowler close type. And she's a bit like that in that she can make a run off 10 and she will tackle bust all the time because she's so like just bony and difficult to get hold of. But when she actually gets open space, it's not even like one of those novelty second rows where it's like, oh, go on, good to see the big man or woman run through open air kind of thing. It's not even that. Like, she runs like a back who's used to it. As I say, she is really fast.
Yeah.
And she's a complete rock star. I love watching her play.
Okay, honourable mentions for this little category. Haruka Hirotsu for Japan.
Yes.
Centre.
I'll take him a Kugi while you're there as well.
Yeah, Nagata written down as well, their captain, who was just superb. 2 Brazilians as well, Bianca Silva, Larissa Henwood.
Yes. Larissa Henwood was outstanding.
Anyone else you want to throw out? I mean, we could. The thing is, it's easy to go on for ages. Like that whole Spanish backline, you can throw out like Agudo, Perez, etc.
How about Sui Pararaisha?
Yes,
Samoa captain.
Yes,
she was brilliant.
Very good, very good. We could go on for ages with these, and we've talked about most of these players at length. We've talked about their teams, I suppose. So we'll move on to overall player of the tournament.
Yes.
Now, my number 3 would have been Erica Jo Cersei. But I bumped her out because she would have been she's number 1 there. So
she's got an accolade, so that's
exactly.
fine.
So I kind of bumped her out. There's so many players I had in contention here. Number 3, just about squeezing in narrowly. And I literally have, like, if you looked at my notes, I had Braxton Sorensen McGee written down. I crossed her out.
Okay.
And I put in...
I think you've done the same thing as me.
Just ahead of her, Alex Tessier.
Oh, okay. That's not what I've done. Okay. Talk to me about Alex Tessier.
The most intelligent footballer in this tournament. The smartest rugby player. The way Canada used her, incredibly intelligent as well. The way dropped her into backfield to defend because she's the best tactical kicker available. So good at organising attack. So sharp with the ball. I don't know if I've ever seen a rugby player in my life with better handling skills. The number of like wild passes I saw through at her shoes a few times and picking them off the ground and then managed to do something incredibly intelligent, throwing a wide ball, putting a chip in behind. Everything good Canada did came through her.
Yeah.
And for me, on balance, I think, if you're to be honest, like, I think she did more than Sorensen McGee over this tournament. I think she was more influential in her team than Sorensen McGee was, who probably scored a bunch of brilliant tries and contributed, but everything good Canada did basically came through Tessier.
I love that. It's a really good pick. I can't argue with that whatsoever. At number 3, I feel a bit harsh putting her at number 3. And once again, I also bumped out Sorensen McGee. There's a slot that she's not quite taken up here, but I've gone for the complete opposite player to Braxton Sorensen McGee. And it's harsh on her. She's only 3rd because of the form of Kelsey Clifford coming in and taking a shirt off for a couple of games. It's Hannah Bottomham.
Yeah, Hannah Bottom's my number 2.
Okay. I thought you might have gone that way. She's been England's best breakdown threat for a couple of years now, really, over and on the back row. And also, as a scrummager, like, she won England the World Cup, like, off the basis of that. So, like, I thought about putting Sorensen McGee instead. And it's like, well, no. She won her team the World Cup because she's so unbelievably good up front in both the jackal and the scrum, and also just around the park. Like, she always makes good decisions of like when to just distribute the ball, because like she's not built for a pace and she knows that. So she'll just distribute the ball really well and make good decisions and let other people do their jobs in the team while she does her own. And also she's a great ball carrier and really good defensively. So like there's not really anything she did wrong in this World Cup except sit on the bench when Kelsey Clifford was really good as well. That's the only reason why she's number 3. She could easily be number 1 for this.
She's kind of the perfect loose head. She's been so good. Her scrummaging really takes over the edge. everything she does around the pitch. Like literally, if she was a number 8 or a flanker, she would be in contention here. She'd be in the top 5.
Yeah.
The fact she is also the best scrummaging loosehead in the world, for me, puts her right up to number 2 as the second best player in this tournament. And I almost can't praise her any more than that, right? You just go, she's perfect at her job. She's literally the best at her job that you'll find anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So for
Completely
me,
agree.
yeah, Hannah Crockerman, number 2.
So for my number 2, I went Georgia Miller.
Okay.
Just because every single time she got the ball or made
Yeah.
an impact in defence or hit a breakdown, anything, she was impactful. Not just in a way where it's like, oh, look at that, she's good. She would do something that was mind-blowing every time she got involved. And again, like I think the tussle was kind of between her and Braxton Soros McGee for that Blackburn slot in this, I guess. And Soros McGee, obviously, with the 11 tries, is incredibly special, especially as an 18-year-old. But, yeah.
So I think Georgia Miller's right up there in terms of actual impact as to what she actually did on the pitch. I left her out my top 3 because if you actually look at what she did, almost all of them in the games the Black Ferns won comfortably.
Yeah, but
And
you
I'm
sound
kinda
like a
like-
South African talking about Dupont.
I know.
It's like
I know.
she contributed to the Black Ferns winning comfortably.
Yeah, massively. But you're a bit like, well, she went off at half time in the first game. She
Having
went off for
scored the
47
opening
minutes
2
in the
tries,
quarter final. Yeah, like she went off while it was still tight in the quarter final, and then didn't play in the semi final.
Yeah.
And for me, that is enough mitigation to bump her down to
Yeah,
like
and that's
7th
fair.
or 8th,
Yeah.
right? And there's a little bit of like, and I'm not saying this about her, of like flat track bully about her performances.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's a little bit of like England playing in any World Cup pool stage.
I know what you mean, that on the aggregate of everything.
So I'm kind of
That's
like,
fair.
what do I value most, right? It is Tessier performing in big games and helping a team close them out more than it is Miller turning a game they were winning by 30 into a game they're winning by 50.
Yeah. I mean, that's entirely fair.
And if you look like, that isn't to say that's all she can do, but it's all she was given the opportunity to do thanks to injury and thanks to various other factors in this World Cup.
Yeah, that's entirely fair.
So
I
that's
really
my
wonder
mitigation.
who we've each gone for as number 1. I say each, like, because we can't have gone for the same
No, we
player
can't
here
possibly.
at all.
The good, the great.
Oh, I thought we were going to go for Desiree Miller at number 1.
Desiree Miller's been very good.
She's class, I love her.
She's been
Anyway,
excellent.
sorry. Yes,
Sophie de Goody.
Sophie de Goody.
Yeah.
The best rugby
We've
player on the
spoken
planet.
so much about Sophie de Goody. I kind of don't feel we've got to say anymore.
No.
Yeah, she's
Look-
the best player on the planet at the minute.
Look, Antoine Dupont's been injured for the last 6 to 8
Yeah,
months.
as we've shown by the fact that Pauline Bourdon-Sauceuse and Maxime Lucu are both over his face right now.
Indeed. Like, we've had that void filled
Yeah.
by Sophie de Goody. That is, like, the best praise I can probably give a rugby player.
Yeah.
Is whilst Antoine Dupont's been injured, somebody else has come up that I've looked at and gone, like, that is my GOAT right there. That is the player that I look at and I'm like, this sport is different when you're playing it. Yeah. I don't know, I feel like I learn more about the sport and how it can be played when I'm watching her play.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you say, there's so much that we have said, so much that we will say, because she's only 26 and already, like, having got that, and also, like, this is of the World Cup, and she came back 1 game prior to this for her ACL injury.
2 games.
And played against Ireland. But off the base of this World Cup, essentially, she's got her Player of the Year award off this.
And so so.
And yeah, she's one of the greats of all
Yep.
time now, and I think we can say that without that much controversy, despite the fact she's only 26.
I throw up Braxton Thompson McGee as well.
Yes.
I throw up Pauline Bourdon-Sauceuse.
Yeah.
I throw up Meg Jones.
Meg Jones has to be on the honourable mention. She's so consistent.
Throw up Sadia Kabaya.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that's kind of competing for my list.
Alex
that
Matthews
list.
too.
Alex Matthews, I think, like really performed the pool stage as well and got better and better and better.
Yeah.
I had her kind of very much in my mind.
Yeah. Abby Ward, I guess, as well. For
Abby Ward,
consistency,
Ellie
similar
Kildown
to
as
the
well.
Meg Jones
kind
thing.
of turned up as it went on as well. Got better and better and better as it went on.
Amy Cocaine too. Really
That's
consistent.
a good shout. It's a good shout actually. I like
Yeah.
that.
Turns out the Red Roses are quite good.
Okay, let's do it. Moment of the tournament.
Okay.
So we've gone top 5 for this list, each of us.
Yes, we have. Honourable mention beforehand.
Yep.
Is the lady on TikTok going, I think that this is good. That's an honourable mention.
Yep.
And calling
Friendship Tunnel.
Ruts Friendship Tunnels.
Friendship Tunnel.
Is up there.
I got no. It's that is in a project I can't mention yet.
Okay, nice.
So, number 5. I went with the opening game.
Okay, I like
The
that.
occasion.
Yeah.
That as a day, as a moment of going, this is class. This is great.
Yeah.
The fact that you had more people there in one match within an hour of the World Cup kicking off than attended the entire 2010
In
World Cup.
Sunderland.
In Sunderland, of all places. The fact that the fan zone in Sunderland was rammed, like it was almost impossible to walk round the outskirts of it to get round from one end to the other. The fact that the merch stand was so filled up, the fact that the whole occasion, like, it was an incredible occasion. It was the moment of going, look how far women's rugby's come, right? The fact you had more people there than you had at the final, which was already a world record crowd at the time, just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
As a buzz, as an atmosphere, leaving the ground afterwards, the whole deal. The fact that USA stood up and were great for a half. You had Alona Mar had a really good game as the big star as well, who was also playing. You had Ailey Kilden and Alona Mar as the two like real star names. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought like as a moment of showing like what this tournament can be, it really set tone.
Alona Mar dancing to the opening "Say My Name," which I'm really going to miss. Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, playing it every single
game.
Every single game. Right.
It was mental rocking up to. Manchester the very next morning for Samoa v Australia, and they played that final. I was like, oh, this is every game then.
Oh, that was the other disappointment of the tournament, was not being let into that ground by one very aggressive member of ground staff.
Okay.
Who then apologised to me afterwards. I kind of just went, okay. Fine.
So, my fifth place, I've gone for Julia Schell's record quickest ever hat-trick against Fiji.
Twice.
Oh, crazy. Yeah, twice. The two quickest hat-tricks in the history of the Women's Rugby World Cup were scored by Julia Schell in the same game. Within like 5 minutes of each other. So that was 11 minutes from first try to sixth there. And yeah, if you combine men's and women's, she got the first and the third quickest hat-tricks of all time. Adam Ashley Cooper being the filling in that shell sandwich with his hat-trick against the USA in 2011. And just a crazy day. And one of the weirdest stats that's ever existed in rugby.
I was on the train back from Manchester from having seen the Wales... Scotland, and Australia, Samoa, and my phone was almost dead, so I stopped watching the game right at half time. Then caught up on it and watched it back in full when I got home, and then watched the France game back afterwards. And they finished at like midnight. It was grand. But I did see, as I was trying to like open the app to see it, it said Shell scores 6, and I was like, wait a sec, no, hold on. I watched the first half. She didn't score a single try. What?
Your phone blacks out for 20 minutes and she scored 6. That's class.
Yeah, that was an enormous surprise.
Yeah.
Number 4, right, we mentioned it already, Bianca Silva's try.
Yeah, I've got it higher up my list.
Yeah.
We'll come back to
what
that.
a moment.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, Harmony Vatatal's penalty against England.
Yes.
And her crying afterwards, and Ramsey Tomakino crying about it afterwards.
Ramsey Tomakino's press conference.
Sui Paralaisha crying afterwards. Like, everything that went around that and what it meant to Samoa to score 3 points, not even 5, against England, the now world champions. It was magic. It's everything rugby could be.
Absolutely.
It should be.
Superb.
It is.
Number 3, Fiji beat Wales for me.
Yeah.
That whole day, that whole
was also my
occasion.
number 3.
Yeah. Seeing what it meant to Fiji, seeing the scenes as like Johan Cunningham was dwarfed and thrown up in the air by his other coaches.
And he was pissed in the team hotel that night when I bumped into him. He'd had a few beers, which was great. Good on you, Johan.
Players fell on the floor into tears. The whole scenes, we hung around a while afterwards and like the Fijians were losing their mind, rightly so.
We couldn't not be happy for Fiji despite being Wales fans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then watching Saravi drinking in the bar afterwards blew me away.
That's also your number 3. Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Well, yeah, Fiji beating Wales is my number 3. My number 2 is Bianca Silva's try against France.
Yeah.
Just an incredible and inspiring moment. And again, the moment she breaks the line and there's a split second where she sticks her head down and is like, oh my God, I've got history in front of me. I've just got to run there really fast.
Who is it? There was one of the other Brazilian players that she started crying, seeing her break the line.
Yeah.
And knowing she was in.
Yeah. Just incredible.
Yeah. My number 2, South Africa drawing level against the Black Ferns at half time.
Oh, yes.
That was incredible.
It was mental. It's unprecedented.
And kind of like even overtook them qualifying and getting out the pool stage.
Yeah, I get that.
Which was also sort of number 2. But like them getting out the pool stage was a brilliant moment, but we thought it was possible, right? We thought it was possible that they could upset Italy and qualify. No one had them down being level with the Black Ferns at half time.
That's mental.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was a proper sign of like, we've seen how far they've come in the pool stage. Now we're seeing how far can they go.
Yeah.
If they can be not just in touch, but level at half time. And obviously, you know, if in 41 minutes, the Black Ferns took control of the game. But, like, as a statement from the South African team, who were maybe the story of the tournament, other than England and Canada, right, outside that final itself, they were probably the story of the tournament, them getting out the pool stage, and then being level at half time against the Black Ferns was amazing. So yeah, that was my second favourite member of the tournament.
Love that. I love that. Okay, so number 1 each. Do you want me to go first?
Please.
South Africa getting out the groups.
Okay,
And
yeah.
getting to the quarterfinal. It was them beating Italy and the scenes. And again, you mentioned Libby and Van Rensburg saying everything's changing. I think there was just such a realisation across South Africa and the world of what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Of like, oh my God, rugby's huge in South Africa. And now they realise that their women's team are good.
Yeah.
And that this can have a huge ripple effect from here. And that was just an incredible, awe-inspiring moment.
My number one was Canada allowing us all to dare to dream.
Yeah.
Right? It was what they did against New Zealand was the moment itself, but I think more than the game which we've talked about, it was everything that Canadian team getting into the final represented. It was, one, a Tier 2 nation doing it, the thought, the potential, as we've talked about on a video a few days ago, of what that could represent to World Rugby, the fact that a team found a way to get the most out of their players, the fact they did it playing a brand new style of rugby that was so attacking and open and fluid and exciting and fast, the fact that they were so imaginative and creative, the fact they were such a skillful group. That Canadian team, like what they represent is the moment of the tournament for me.
Yeah.
Like, is the week we spent after that semi-final going, they could win the World Cup. Yeah. They can do this. The only other thing I can think of that's similar was Japan in the 2015 and 19 World Cups, right?
Yeah.
Where you went like, oh, I feel like I'm seeing the game reinvented here. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's genuinely quite emotional and moving. I mean, like, this is a team that represents something so much bigger, but also is critical to the growth of rugby in that nation.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we'll look back on this Canadian team making this final in the same way we look at that Japan 2015 and 19 teams, leading to rugby being one of the three biggest sports in Japan right now. Right?
And now we expect that of Japan
Yeah.
when we watch them play.
Japan are now a Tier 1 nation off the back of it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a chance that this Canadian team proved to be the same, even though they didn't go all the way in Canada, as a truly important team.
Yeah.
To
Beautifully
me, that was
put. Well done.
That was the moment of the tournament.
Yeah.
What a tournament.
What a tournament indeed.
This, I believe, concludes our coverage of the World Cup.
Yes, it will do, because that
Yeah.
other video
It has
that
been
we already
recorded. Yeah. It's out.
Is obviously out. Yeah. Okay. So whilst we're there, okay, I will talk you through some few stats on this World Cup.
Please.
Between the two Squidge Rugby channels,
Yep.
Squidge Rugby, more Squidge Rugby. This is, I believe, the 42nd
Okay.
video that we've done on the World Cup. And between
Remember
those,
that guy who said we just did 3?
yeah,
I was like, you're not talking about the game.
yeah. And between those, we've done 1,224 minutes worth of content. on
Okay.
this. So that's 20 hours and 20 minutes plus whatever this is, and the other video that is recorded. Plus that.
Plus that, so-
we've probably done about 21 hours worth of coverage on this World Cup.
Blimey, Charlie.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just
way.
the other thing. Yeah, thank you. The other thing worth adding is like it is just the two of us doing all of this.
Yeah.
Like everything is written, recorded, researched, covered entirely by
all
two
the
people.
analysis is
There's
just
no
us
AI.
two.
You know,
No.
there's no like other people. There's nothing like. the
Yeah, we
editing,
edit it all.
of it. Like,
yeah. So all of the little boxes that come up and everything, that's just us.
the other stat I'd throw out is the fact there are 8 days between the Lions tour and this World Cup.
Yes.
So it's been an exhausting period.
It has.
As you watch this, I think I'm taking my first week off since 2021.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a full week off since, and I'm going to stop for an actual full week, which I need to lie down.
Yeah.
I need to stop for a bit.
Yeah.
I might have to make a thumbnail in that time or so. To fill that time, we have some other bits of content coming, one of which may involve Bill Beaumont's autobiography right there. It's been a pleasure. It's been a hell of a World Cup. We've talked about that at length elsewhere, but it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to cover. And
It's been brilliant. I've
it
loved
just like absolutely invigorates you for the next one, doesn't it?
Congratulations. I hope you enjoy your lie down. I don't yet know whether I'm having a lie down or not.
You're
this
very
week.
welcome to. I'm encouraging you to. very
Yes,
much so.
yes. But I feel like I might go mad if I don't talk about rugby publicly for a week.
See, I think I go mad if I keep doing it. I'm just at
Yeah.
this point where like I've done nothing else for the last seven years.
Yeah.
So like I genuinely don't think I've had a full week off since I got really ill straight after the Lions in 2021.
So you're just not going to think about rugby at all?
I'm going to try not to think about rugby at all.
Yeah.
I might be doing. I'm doing an Ospreys podcast, so I might do that in the week.
I mean, I'm going to be
depending on
playing
how they
rugby
do
and
against the
coaching
Stormers.
rugby,
Yeah.
so like that's kind of means I have to think
We'll
about it.
see. I might.
I could
probably
try
will.
not thinking about rugby whilst I play it. I wonder if I'd be really, really shit at that point, because I won't be thinking about the ball. I won't be thinking about what's in front of me. Mate, this is revolutionary. I've gone to the David Ortiz school of
I was
rugby.
about to say, yeah.